Hey everybody, welcome to match day 8. Wanted to try something different today. First thing we're going to do, we're going to actually take a look and see how match day 7 went. Oh, go ahead, buddy. I'll pick it up in a minute, okay? Miles with a cameo dropping some cereal on the floor there. Anyway, gonna go ahead and share my screen. So yesterday we put the 2 on Euchre. I believe we put a 1 on Tahiti, a 0 on Top Gun. It looks like for the most part we did correct. Kettle Lake was among the harder ones, and Euchre was the second hardest in Arundel. Then beyond that, it would have really come down to the specific knowledge, though. It looks like Top Gun was just easy everywhere, so that was definitely a correct 0. So yeah, nothing too surprising. I'm going to start doing that defense recap because I think it'll be interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the questions for match day 8. All right. What slang term for a Marine, either in the U.S. Marine Corps or British Corps of Royal Marines, arose, according to one theory, from the lining of the rigid and uncomfortable standing collar that was once part of the full dress uniform? This term is, well, yeah, roughneck? No, I'm sorry. I think that this this is useful. There was a GI Joe named Leatherneck. Was one of the 1980s GI Joe characters, and probably I remember like asking my dad like, what does that mean? And he said, oh, it means someone in the Marines. And it does make sense. I didn't know that it came from this collar thing, but it's funny. I remember having that conversation. I don't know. Anyway, that's going to be, yeah, Leatherneck. Question 2. The mathematical constant pi, the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, is 3.1 when rounded to the nearest tenth. Likewise, what is the value of the mathematical constant e, the base of the natural logarithm, when rounded to the nearest tenth? E is 2.71, I think. The good news is I only have to get it to the nearest tenth, so that's 2.7. Yep. Question 3. From 1948 to 1974, U Nu, Bosway, and Ne Win served as the first prime ministers of what country, in a position that was abolished in a 2008 constitutional referendum approved by 94% of voters, allegedly? Yeah, this answer is Myanmar. Yeah, U Nu is a guy that I've heard of. Obviously, U Thant is probably the most famous person with that name scheme. He was a Secretary General of the United Nations. He was from Myanmar. And yeah, they currently have kind of a dictatorship there, which is being opposed by the Nobel Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi. So that's another hint to confirm that that's right. Question 4. Before finally winning the 1993 Academy Award for Best Actor, Al Pacino had previously been nominated for the Best Actor Oscar 4 times. Once was for The Godfather Part 2. Name any one of the other 3 films. There's 2 that I can think of that are... hold on a second. Okay. Just so everyone's aware, Miles put some more cereal in his thing to make up for the ones that he dropped. I know everybody was concerned about that, so that's good. Before finally winning, we're back to the Al Pacino question. I'm fairly sure that the first one of these, the movies I think of with Pacino in the 70s would be like, or that era would be like Dog Day Afternoon and Serpico. The safest one here seems to be Serpico. I bet both of those are right. I'm glad I only have to name one. This is, to some extent, just an educated guess. 1945's A Street in Bronzeville takes its title from a name journalists gave to Chicago's ghetto. It's the first book of what poet who became the first African American to receive the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry with her second book of poems, Annie Allen. I think this was the first African American to receive a Pulitzer Prize in general. I could be wrong about that. This is nonetheless pretty famously Gwendolyn Brooks. This is definitely sort of quiz bowl fodder. I feel like it's the sort of thing that could come up on Jeopardy or somewhere like that, but it would be a definite bottom row clue or bottom row type clue. So that one may get a 3 if our opponent's not quite good at literature. It's certainly likely to be at least the hardest question so far. And question 6. Julia Morgan, a graduate of engineering at UC Berkeley, the only female engineering student in her class, and of the École des Beaux-Arts, the first female architecture student admitted, is most famous today for designing the palatial residence of whom, starting in the late 1910s. Well, obviously she made it all the way to France. My hope is that the Berkeley clue means she'd stay connected to California. And the answer to that would probably be, well, I mean, there's kind of two big, California guys in that era. Those are Stanford, who I think tends to come a little earlier in the timeline. But this may well be William Randolph Hearst. There's Hearst Castle is the name of his big mansion, and palatial definitely might, lend itself to being Hearst Castle. So I think that's probably right. All right. To assign defense here, leatherneck is a term that most people, I have really no sense of, how much general knowledge that is. I'm not going to put a 0 on it. I think that would almost certainly be wrong against anybody, because this is one of these idiom things, and it's almost always wrong. If we're going to get 6 right, we don't want to lose to them just not having heard that word before. I'm going to go with a 1. I suppose E is dependent on someone's math score, though I imagine most people who have been through high school know it's 2 point something. They'll probably get, like, the most common wrong answer will probably be like 2.6. But I also want to definitely put some points on that one. So yeah, against an A-Rundler, that's going to get a 1 as well. This is a hard day to defend. I don't really have a great 0, although I feel like I want to put the 0 on Myanmar, because I feel like most A-Rundlers will know U Tant, but that may not be true at all. It may be that that's a little tougher than I'm giving it credit for, because people aren't necessarily going to be familiar with Burmese naming conventions or whatever. But I don't know. That feels 0-y to me. I could put a 2 on Leatherneck and a 1 on Myanmar, just to give credit for the fact that some people won't know it, and then look at the Al Pacino one. Yeah, I mean, I feel like most people are going to be able to come up with either Serpico or Dog Day Afternoon. I can't think of anything that's an obvious neg bait. Unless somebody says Scent of a Woman for 1993, but that's not right. So yeah, that's a fair 0 against somebody who doesn't know movies at all. This is difficult to do against an aggregated A-Rundler, but yeah, this is a lot of these are places you'd check their math. Yeah. Gwendolyn Brooks feels like a pretty safe 3 against most people who are not demonstrably great lit players. Even then, this might be a fact that some people aren't aware of. I just happen to know this, Gwendolyn Brooks, factoid almost. And then Julia Morgan, Hearst Castle, feels like it can get a 2, just because some people may not necessarily go, oh yeah, obviously California, but some other people may. Even then, there would be some, potentially wrong answers people could come up with for that one. So that's how we're going to defend. And let's see if we got everything right. I'm thinking The one that I'm most likely to miss might be Hearst, if that really is wrong. I think it's almost got to be it though. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure we got all these today. Let's see. Leatherneck, 2.7. Myanmar Burma, Serpico. Ooh, and Justice for All is a tricky one. Then Gwendolyn Brooks and William Randolph Hearst. So, okay, great. Thanks for watching today, everybody. Glad we could do some good. Sorry, glad we could do well for you.